start off. You informed me. Somebody said Brent had an emergency, and God pray for him. Hope everything goes well, and don't ever want nothing bad to happen to your family. That's hope everything's okay. Please tell him I said so, and hope he hears it. God bless him. All right.
Whenever you're ready.
Been there. Looking at the film, and a lot of fighting our guys, but we put ourselves behind the 8 ball early. The kickoff coming back and getting behind with 9 minutes. It was 9:50 something on the clock. I think we were down 17-0. Never been a part of that, but that's kickoff. We covered it right. Just didn't make the plays. We were there to make the plays. A couple missed tackles, a couple broke tackles, and did not finish on the tackles. The guy made a great return and put where we wanted, kicked it, got down there, hustled, and just didn't make the plays. And got to do that. And we've been really good at covering kickoffs. That's something we've done extremely, extremely well. And plus the kick, when we have ran it, we've tackled well. We didn't do that. Then had the quick turnovers, and unfortunately got behind. And then showed a lot of guts, a lot of pride, a lot of character. Coming back, battling, moved the football very well offensively after that. We booted, nakeded, got the running game, had great balance, throwing, passing, hitting different guys. I got back in the game, come out and had a really good drive to open up, and just didn't get it. Had a chance to hit a big shot, and couldn't get enough time to get it off, and didn't get a score, but pinned them, and then they got out and got a short punt and got back, and then we got a turnover and got back in the game. Couldn't get to one more drive. But, I mean, there's still things we're moving the ball much better offensively. Got to play more consistent. I got some guys banged and got to get some chemistry, and then ran the ball really well the first half. Second half did not as much. Didn't get to running. It was like 4 guys on. One guy just a block, come off a block, slide off a block. Not the seams. Just we couldn't get them going. Couldn't get the plays and got some pressure. Defensively, we did a really nice job. Created 2 turnovers in the game. They had the one long drive at the end, unfortunate. And the drives they had, we were there to make plays. Just missed some tackles in space. Got to keep tackling, which you always do. They had a good back and did a good job. Again, they had a very good team. But, just disappointing we didn't got to find that play, got to do those things, and then came back and got a drive at the end, get a great defensive stand, took a drive down, got it, then got an onside kick, did a really nice job in that area from where we're at there, and then had a chance for Hail Mary, and just last one got hit, one we got off, and got to protect that. But give ourselves a chance to either fight, they're hard again. It's right there. We're one play away, and we got to find it and believe in our kids. Have a lot of faith in our players, have a lot of faith in what we're doing. And it's got to keep coaching them, and they will get there. Their heart, their fight, their soul, and we just got to get them to execute a little better in the beginning and all the way through some key situations on both sides and special teams and get there. But hey, we're not where we want to be. No one's happy, I promise you that. But we just got to play better and finish it off. Questions?
To the right on the second row, David.
Jimbo, how do you caution younger players from hitting the panic button on what you're trying to build here?
Well, I mean, listen, here's what you tell them. Everything you do is put on film, and you're playing. I always say you're playing for your life. You are, because every play you play is somebody's evaluating it. You know what I mean? The pros, the guys, your teammates, everything do. Just play and have faith in what you got to do. And as crazy as it sounds, because our guys, the way we're playing hard and the things they see, and we show it on film. I mean, look at it's right here. And if we do this, this, and this, it's right here. And the plays we make, whether it's offense or defense, and they see. And it's not. And they're not frustrated, but disappointed we didn't make them, but they understand how. And we're like I say, we're trying to educate, teach, and we got to find different ways to teach, find different ways to make sure we're asking them to do the right things. But they buy in and see how they're playing, how hard they play. We just got to get them to play better, and we got to coach them better and keep doing it. I keep saying it's like a broken record. It's right there. But that part of it right now, our guys believe and they're into it. We've talked to them, communicate with them every day about it.
Front left, Zach, and then to the right, Ola.
Jimbo, how much harder or how much more difficult does it make it for this offense to execute when you've got young players like you do? I mean, just
any offense.
age-wise.
I don't care from experience. There's nothing that substitutes for experience. And like you say, 4 on, 5 off up front, or out of here, and those inches matter. And then when you're playing good teams, and you got to, I always say this: you fight for the inches. The inches make the difference, and that's the detail and the precision in which you do something with it, from the hand to a foot to everything. And it matters, and you got to keep getting them looks and things that they understand totally. But at the end of the day, that's the guys you have, and they're very good players. So we have to just we can get them there.
Second row to the right, Olin, and then Travis.
Jimbo, what do you have to do to make sure your guys stay invested in this season? You see in college football, a lot of I saw like at SMU, a bunch of players decided just to redshirt.
Yeah, I'd heard about that. I didn't know, but I don't see that out of our guys. And I see our guys the way they practice and educate them again. Stay communicative with them, keep a relationship with them, and educate them what they're doing. And like I say, you're playing everything you do. You're putting on film. There's a resume there. You're building. And today's time, that matters. That's the I and win. Your individual responsibility to be the best you can be. So our team can win, and I can have a future, and that's what you tell them on. And I don't see guys wanting to bail. I don't see guys wanting to do that. And guys are again continue to practice hard and play hard, and we that luckily, knock on wood, hasn't been an issue with us.
Do you think you're going to have to recruit guys on your team to keep them out of transfer portal and things like that?
I think you have to do that. I don't care if you win 11 games, you win 0 games. That's the nature of the beast right now in today's football. That's the inclination of anything. If a guy didn't play enough or a guy didn't get there, you saw guys. Last year you've seen guys right now transfer that have had great success places, had great teams, done things. That's going to be new normal for everything.
Front right, Travis.
Unfortunately, in college football.
To the left, Cease.
Is Zach Evans' recruitment with how roller coaster that was? Is that one that you won't soon forget with kind of how everything went down with that one?
Oh no, it was very close with Zach. Thought the world. He's a heck of a player, and dadgummit, he did what I wished he wouldn't have done, playing against him. So I told him, if we don't get you, go somewhere way far away. We ain't got to play you. You know what I mean? And but he's a heck of a player, and yes, thought the world of Zach and was one heck of a football player.
Did you eventually think you probably would be facing him with the kind of talent he had in this league?
Well, yeah. Well, he wasn't in our league. He was at TCU. That made me happier than being in the league at the time. So, but usually those things always come back around.
To the left, Cease.
You talked about the 4-game stretch away before the season started. Now that you went through it with this team, was it even tougher possibly than what they thought it would be?
I don't know if it was tougher as far as it's a good question. I don't know if tougher is the word I'm trying to start. Is it very difficult? Yes. Is it tough? Yes. But I think maybe just the awareness of having to go on the road for the first time in this league on the stretch and understand how the home field advantages are on places, I think for some of our younger players was fun, but I think it was a little eye-opening at times too. You know what I'm saying? Especially I think that happens more so probably on offense than it does on defense because of the noise and things you have to endure when you do those things. But I still think I think it does coaches. Rookie coaches in this league, when they go on the road and realize how many good venues there are in this league, I think it's eye-opening. So, yeah, I guess tougher may be, or very eye-opening anyway.
Front right, Cole.
Jimbo, if I'm not mistaken, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think it's now the 5th game where it's been a new set of 5 offensive linemen. Do you think the continuity of that has maybe factored into the offense?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that. It's not trying to make an excuse, but you're talking about calls, you're talking about chemistry, you're talking about how. Sometimes when we double team, that guy likes to come this way. Sometimes you get a new guy, he likes to come down harder, so I come a little shorter. All those nuances that create the inches are definitely an issue when you're constantly changing that because of and then how they block movements and also communications. How if you're like a guy that you're beside, that you've worked beside all the time, that sometimes you can just, as I say, you don't have to say anything. You can give an eye wink or a nod, or he'd look at him and he'll look at you, and you kind of see it at the same time, and like, I got it. You know what I mean? When you're seeing a blitz or a twist, I think all those little things really matter when it comes into that. But, that's the hand we're dealt. We got to deal with it.
And then I think I remember asking you this last year about Lane Kiffin's offense. We talk about it being one of the more high-potent passing units, but they've really done a great job running the football.
The key to them is, if you watch it, and always has been, it's running the ball. There's not – I don't mean this, they throw the ball, but there's not a lot of conceptually when you're talking about a true passing game like you think of those things. It's more RPOs going fast, then getting maxed up, taking big shots down the field, which they do a great job of. And then their third down, they'll have their packages. But there's not a deep down, it's more RPOs and running, and the speed of the offense more than the scheme. I don't mean to take anything where there's good schemes and what they do, but the speed of it and the timing of it and the RPOs and all that is one of the big secrets. And then get you going in and get to maxed up and take shots on you.
And then during the bye week, you guys said you were starting to watch a little bit of film on every team moving forward. Did you notice how they use Quinshon Judkins versus how they use Zach Evans in the offense?
Yeah, I tell you what, both those guys are really good players, and that's one of the best. That may be as good a two-back group that we faced all year. When you talk about the 1-2 punch in which they have, and you got a great young guy who's really good, and then you got an experienced guy who's played a lot of football. And have hit it very well. So they've done a really good job with that, and both are very, very good players, man. I mean, very good players.
Coach will go back behind the lights to
Yes,
the
sir.
left, Tyler.
Jimbo, kind of going off that, how much emphasis are you putting into that run defense and having a better run defense as you prepare for Ole Miss?
Well, we did, and we played really well against the run last week. I mean, I thought for the most part, a couple of them broke out, but you have to, and you have to do it with the tempo and get them set and make sure guys are there, and because they can get that run game going, then it becomes a two-headed monster that really goes on you, and you're gonna have to play well up front. There's no doubt, and sometimes, like I say, in space and when they widen you out, you got to handle things up there, two gaps and some of the things by yourself. So it's going to be a tough challenge for sure. Ole Miss is a very good team and done a really good job on defense. I mean, they're defensive people. They got 8 starters back from a year ago, and they mix and match that thing, and they know what they're doing with it.
Stay back behind the lights to the right, Ben.
Hey, Coach, with Connor at quarterback, and I guess just generally speaking across the board, how do you balance for the rest of the year trying to win the rest of these games with the best units you can on the field, and also trying to potentially see what you have for years to come with some of these guys?
Well, no, you got to play for the moment, because I'm going to say you play for the future, but what do you tell that senior? What do you tell that junior is going out? I mean, they want to win now, and you do that. You make decisions based on the now, and you play your guys. If they're good enough to play, and if they can play in the future, and you feel they're good enough to play now, you play them. And we'll play a lot of guys, which we have. But we got to do what we have to do each week to play put the best team on the field and compete.
Front row to the left, Zach.
Jimbo, just being able to come back home after such a long break, have you ever had to experience that long away from home before, and how excited are you to be back home?
I remember I double-checked last time. I said one year I was here, we had a run like that. And if I'm not mistaken, tell me if I'm wrong, I looked at it, 6 out of 7, we were away in the first year.
Yes, sir. That was it. We had that one home game with Kentucky.
It was in there.
October
We had
6th.
like a 6 out of 7.
Yes,
we had
sir.
a run that was, I didn't know if it was the same, but it was very similar that same way, which is, it's the only place I've ever had that. But I mean, it's usually bounced up a little better than that. But it's good to be home, no doubt about that.
To the right on second row, David.
Jimbo, the offense has struggled to put up points for now more than a season, at the end of last season and this season. Beyond execution, is there something you can do, the coaching staff, to help that out middle?
And to keep staying aggressive. And that's why we said we had some shots in that game that we didn't get off and had some guys down open, and we got to stay aggressive in it. And we got to get the balls to the playmakers guys who make touches that can make guys miss and score, and, like a chain does, try to get balls into key guys' situations more. And we got to stay. The thing we're going to do is stay aggressive. Listen, the last couple of weeks, whether we haven't achieved everything, but we've moved the ball much better, had more in sync, had more creativity, and guys are understanding what to do better. And we will keep staying aggressive. Because I believe in them. There's a bunch of good players. Everyone's got to keep giving those playmakers touches, and I think it'll happen. And again, stay consistent with drives and not get behind the 8 ball.
Second row to the right, Olin.
Coach, would you think you would evaluate the job that y'all have done as a staff coaching this football team this year?
Well, obviously not what we need to be doing. I mean, we haven't reached the standard in which we want to reach, and which is not to lose any games. We have to coach better and do a better job putting our guys in position and get them to understand, and from education to techniques to doing the things we do. And again, we're not happy where we're at in any way, shape, or form.
Is there anything that you can think of that, looking back, that you wish you had done differently?
No, I mean, just you got to get guys across the board, and there's a system. And listen, you look at things you do in camp, you evaluate, you change every year things you do, what you do based off your teams, and you got to get education. Staying healthy was one. I mean, if you keep the same guys and keep continuity and some of that stuff, but as far as coaching, and then there's always hindsight. You go back and say, well, just a little bit here or there, but as far as what we do schematically, we're there. We just got to get them to understand it and do a better job explaining it to them. Like I say, you don't. A guy doesn't explain something, you got to re-explain it. You got to coach it. You got to put him in position. You got to get him to walk through it. You got to get him to do it, and then get confidence in it and believe in it. And that's what coaching is.
Coach will go to the left
It's
side,
education.
fourth row.
Hey, Coach. With 4 losses so far, it's been pretty disappointing. What's your message to recruits about the future of the program?
Look at what we're doing and the guys that happen, and also, you look at that in the back. They see opportunities. Everybody says, "I go somewhere's winning all the time. I may not play for a while." You know what I'm saying? But no, we've got good young players. Look at the young players team. Look at the young talent we have. Look at the guys making a lot of the plays, and they see it. We got a good nucleus of what we're doing, and that we're only a playoff on those games. And you sell that, and you see it, and be truthful about it. There's no in recruiting. The key to recruiting, there's no pitch. When you're a good recruiter, you tell the truth. Recruiting is about one thing: truth and relationships. You can draw it up 100 ways, but it's silly. There is no pitch. There is no magical formula. There is no pixie dust. You build a relationship through truth and trust, and be honest with them about where you see them and what they do, and you don't base everything off 1 year either. You don't base things off history, what people have done, where they've been, what's happened, schools have happened, players, and see the future of what a program is. But it's based off truth and trust, it's what you tell them.
Front row.
Be
Travis.
honest with them.
Do you expect Haynes and Bryce Foster to play this weekend?
No, Bryce is out for the year.
Okay.
Bryce will be out for the year. Aki's out for the year. Moko's out for the year.
Okay.
So we'll move on from there. Yes, Haynes should be, yes.
And I know Lane last year mentioned in his post-game press conference about the offense moving slow, allowing their defense to set up. Is tempo a thing that y'all can do, you prefer to do? Or
No, we had 80-some plays last game. We've been on a much better pace, and when you're executing, getting first downs, and getting into tempo, and getting into calls, and getting the guys that get your line, you get that. And there's also, there's hindsight to that. That's their style. That's our style. I mean, and you mix them up.
To the left, Rob.
Howdy, Coach.
Howdy.
After looking at the film, evaluate Haynes' play and Connor's play for me, if you will.
I'm gonna tell you what. You go back and watch Haynes in the play, and Haynes played a very, very good football game. A lot of good throws, a lot of good punts, put us in a great position. Poole had good runs. Scramble didn't get some pressure on third down, made some good third down throws. Led us on some really nice drives. Played very, very, very solid football game and some really big time plays. Thought Connor went in, did a really nice job. He's been, like I said, somebody asked me, was he being not prepared the other day? He was prepared because he's worked his butt off every week. I mean, and he understands what we're doing. It's a couple throws, and maybe it's a read here and there. And if he had some more time on a couple things, could have made it. But his eyes were good. He got the ball out. He saw the field and can come back and regurgitate to you on the sideline what he saw, why he saw it, what happened, when it was exactly what you saw on film when you graded the film. And I thought he played a couple of things you like to have back, a read here or two that, just as he saw. But, I thought he played really well. I did.
Front right, Cole, you'll wrap us up.
Jimbo, last offseason, Lane went really hard into the transfer portal to get a bunch of veteran talent. Do you think that because of them having starting experience has helped them translate to having just as hot?
Well, I think two things. It does. Anytime guys have played and they've played significant roles, they've got some guys. And that's the thing about the portal is the thing about it is, it's funny. You got to find out when the guys get in there. By the time they get in there and you get to them, a lot of times they've already decided where they're going. And that's the thing about the portal that makes it tough. But when you get experienced guys and you get guys that have significant, just for instance, Alabama in the last couple of years when they've gotten Gibbs, the tailback for them has made a big difference. A year ago, was it the receiver? Was it Williams? Yeah, that made a big difference. And I'm just using that for example. The same thing, they've got Zach and the quarterback who started at USC, and Zach's played a ton of ball, and other guys there's guys that have played football and have played, and not transferring because they didn't play and played at other places and started. That's can be a really good thing, and it's obviously paid off for them. They've got a really nice team, and Lane's done a really nice job with them.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate the time.
Thank you, guys.